surprised.
Right. Because
When he came. I was gonna have him come to New Haven
But,
to
okay,
the Black and
no
Hispanic
problem.
Caucus two years ago. He
You could still reach out to him.
Oh, no, look, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
he did some
Well,
stuff.
I think
stuff for
something that
international union all the time.
Things are concerned, so when
union is very supportive.
like
Yeah,
specifically.
I'm not the last thing we did in Las Vegas. We did a picket line.
I'm told he's going to be focusing.
Right, which
Like, focusing on specifically for to North Carolina. So they can have that or the DC issues here that
Okay.
And he don't realize that he ain't far from where he was.
well, and the conference was good, so I'm hoping that
Right. Things that really.
yeah, to get on that schedule.
Did you check? That's what we got.
How's everyone?
I know. Yeah. No, we gotta look at that. But we. Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, we'll talk again.
Warm. Put on silent.
So, cause I know things that we never. Because we do that. Yeah, so we'll definitely, are we recording now? Oh, in agenda, I'm sorry. Ready? All right, everyone, thank you for being here tonight. We're gonna call this meeting to order. This is our Black and Hispanic Caucus of the New Haven Board of Alders meeting for April 10th, 2024, being held in our wonderful Board of Alders chamber. So we have our call to order done. And everyone, make sure you sign the attendance sheet, please, if you have not done so already. Please make sure your cell phones are on silent or vibrate. I don't know where I put mine, but I just had it. And just make sure we're respectful and using decorum tonight. Those are our ground rules. Everybody that has an agenda, just take note. You'll see our reporting stuff there. And as usual, if you have any questions, please make sure you connect with us or email us or get with us after if you have any questions about the report. We're going to start off tonight. We started late, so thank everyone for their patience. We have a few requests here, and we're going to start calling up our presenters. So what we're going to do is we are going to start with our Hill event, our presenters for the Hill event, and Mr. Harris. Yeah, please come up. You can have a seat right here. And thank you for being with us tonight. Before you start speaking, please just remember to state your name and address for the record. And then what we will do is we will have you give us a briefing on your event and what we can do to help.
Okay, hi, I'm Dr. Pamela Montelli, and you can, I am the co-chair of the Hill North Mentor team, address 30 White Street.
And I'm Tiffany Edelstein, and I live at 238 Orange Street.
Thank you. All right, so we just really wanted to have you here so you can just briefly speak on your event.
So we do have some flyers here, but just for the weekend. Thank you.
So,
In the back. Oh. All right, no, thank you.
thank you. So we are working as part of the Hill North Community Management Team to work with the International Festival of Arts and Ideas for the neighborhood festivals, this year specifically the Hill Festival. And one of our goals is honoring our elders. So we have been working on a project to honor Mr. Fred Harris, who was the co-founder of the Hill Parents Association, as well as one of the original New Haven Black Panthers. And so we have many aspects to this project, one of which is a community history exhibit, which will be actually downstairs in City Hall for the month of May. So we've been working with Arts and Tourism as well as Department of Community Resilience on that. And then it'll also be eventually donated to the Wilson Branch New Haven Free Public Library following its time here. And then we are also hosting a reception to honor Mr. Harris among family and friends and other community members on May 17th. And then the Hill Festival will follow that on May 18th.
So I'll just, I did write something to the esteemed members of the Black and Hispanic Caucus. On behalf of the Honoring Fred Harris Organizing Committee, I stand before you today to request your invaluable support and celebrate the life and legacy of a true community champion, Mr. Fred Harris. Mr. Harris' contributions to social justice and community empowerment in New Haven's history are undeniable. From his early involvement in the civil rights movement to his role in the founding of the Hill Parents Association and establishing the Hill Health Center, his legacy continues to offer profound lessons for our city. We are particularly impressed by Mr. Harris' dedication to bridging the gap between the Connecticut Mental Health Center and the Black and underserved residents it aimed to serve during his tenure as special assistant to the director in 1969. To ensure a lasting tribute to Mr. Harris' impact, we are undertaking several initiatives. Street sign, code naming, we are actively pursuing the designation of the city street corner in honor of Fred Harris. That's the corner of York and Frontage. A public history exhibit, and Sophie spoke to that in his honor. A celebration reception to commemorate Mr. Harris and this project. We are organizing a reception on the eve of May 17th, which is invitation only. A key to the city. We are seeking the distinguished honor of a key to the city being bestowed upon Mr. Harris in recognition of his lifetime of service. And a commissioned bust. We are proud to announce the committee commissioned Susan Clenard to create a permanent bust of Mr. Harris. This bust will serve as a lasting visual testament to his legacy. And a city citation. We are pursuing a formal citation from the city of New Haven and the Board of Aldermen acknowledging Mr. Fred Harris's exceptional contributions. Now, your financial support for these initiatives is crucial. By contributing to the honoring of Fred Harris Project, the Black and Hispanic Caucus can send a powerful message about the enduring value of Mr. Harris's work and its continuing relevance to our community. We urge you to join us in honoring this extraordinary man and his lasting impact on New Haven. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions from committee members at this time? None? Okay, no questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
We will be in touch with you.
I do have a question,
Alderman Morrison?
so this is in collaboration with the Person Idea, so this is the Hill Neighborhood Pop-Up Festival? Okay, and these two things feed into that, so what is this? This is the 18th? Oh, so this is on a Friday.
So the Friday is the one that, we created, like you said, as an extension from the Hill Fest. So the Hill Fest is the 18th, and that's going to take place at Trowbridge Park. But during that festival, we're going to honor Mr. Fred. We have already, provided transportation, hotel accommodations. He's all set. But we have some other things we need to take care of, and that's where you can help us. But the Friday is an extension. It's not, it's actually the Hill North Management Team taking over that part of it. And the Hill Fest is, the Arts and Ideas, they're really helping us. They didn't just throw us out there by ourselves.
So just so that I'm clear, in regards to the donation, I hope you all know we don't give a whole lot of money. We don't have a lot of money, but every dime counts, right?
Yeah, amen.
The funding that you guys are looking for is to help with the overall, or is it with food? Because we're always just trying to be specific to the, not so specific, but how it's impacting youth and seniors.
Right.
And I know that you guys are honoring this person, and also with having the festival, in having the festival, you guys are gonna need support around stuff. Or
Right.
that,
Yes, we have a list of items that we are trying to purchase, or like you said, we're gonna need food. We need to have, even entertainment. And then we are having children that are involved. This is not,
so like a bouncy house.
well, yeah, there's gonna be different activities for children. We didn't mention, we have a poster contest that's gonna happen for the youth. And we do have someone that did donate to give the award for that particular contest. But the person that wins the contest, their picture or their project will be a part of the exhibit that is a traveling exhibit. So it would be leaving from the, it's gonna start here.
Yep.
Okay, it's gonna start here, and it's gonna go to the New Haven Museum, and then it will be housed at the Wilson Library. So yes, anything that you give us will help this.
With your investment, you have an overall thing, but this particular one, you gotta buy hamburgers, hot dogs, or whatever it is that you're giving, and providing supports to the children, senior citizens, and everyone alike.
And Mr. Fred Harris is 85 years old, so all of his friends will be around. So they definitely will be seniors,
Definitely.
so, yes.
Okay, great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You got a question?
Yes, just for clarification, Dr. Monk. So last year, this is the same festival that was put on at Trowbridge Square. And they came out and did a whole celebration for the community and they participated with the Arts and Ideas. So they come in and they have us enjoy, because they're putting it on with all the bells and whistles. Yours, for May 17th, is where you're looking for assistance for the honoring of at the reception. That's what you're talking about. Okay, because these are two different items. Okay, so I just wanted to be clear. The 17th is what you're looking for. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
further
Thank you,
questions?
Chair.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to make a comment if I could.
Oh, yes, that's our altar.
Can you please be brief with your comment due to time constraints, please, because we started late.
I
Thank
just want
you.
to say that they have put in a lot of work to put this event together, and I'm very support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fred.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, before you go, I just want you to know that Sophie here is the daughter of one of our former legislative services staffers, Jane Edelstein. So it's nice to see you.
Nice.
Yeah, so we knew her before she was even on the planet, right? Now she's back. Is what happens with the young people. See, they end up at that side of the table.
And I harassed poor Sophie because of my son. And I was like, I know that name.
Right.
So thank you, Sophie. It's so great seeing you. And thank you for helping out with the whole project and being involved.
I should say she heard about Fred Harris. She was taking a class at Yale. She's graduating this year, but she decided that when she collaborated with my family and knew that we knew him from the Hill, she just jumped right in this, and just everything she has, she just put it in, and we do appreciate Sophie. Lord help them to heal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim used to be one of my students.
And just, Madam Chair, just so you all know, just so our process, so after we go through this process, then we deliberate. And so you don't have to stay the whole time, just so that you know, and someone will be in touch with you. Okay, all right. Actually, no, Al?
I have her information.
Okay.
I have everything. I got your emails, both of you and her contact.
Okay. Yeah, you should have it.
I should.
All right.
You know I should.
Let's see who we're gonna call next. We have someone here to, our mental health donation request.
Hello.
Hello, thank you for being here. And can you please just state your name and address for the record and the organization you're representing?
Hi, I'm Ariella Edwards, 41 Judson Avenue in New Haven. And I'm representing Mental Harmony Foundation.
Thank you. All right, you got the floor.
Well, good evening and thank you all for having me. I was here last year and I received the support, so I definitely appreciate it. I do apologize because I found out late, so I don't have flyers.
That's right. You can email that to us.
Okay, so Mental Harmony Foundation is a small nonprofit established in 2020. We're basically, our mission is to break the stigma of mental health in the inner city, in the Black and brown communities. It's no secret that we experience a lot of trauma. And the goal is to help at-risk youth. That's the focus. So some of them are like mentees where we have one-on-ones with them. But this particular event this is the fourth year. This is the fourth annual New Haven Mental Health Awareness Fair. And there's live performances, there's speakers, clinicians, vendors as well. And we really like to do it where it's mixed up like that so that everyone can know, so especially the kids can know that you need to know your outlet. Everyone has mental health, it's everywhere, it's everything. But at the end of the day, how do you manage it? You don't just let yourself go all the way down. Use your village, dance, be in a drill team. There's a whole bunch of different performers and speakers and vendors so that they can understand that.
Any questions from committee members? Alderman Morrison.
What is your date?
Saturday, May 25th, and it is at the Q House. This year. Yeah, from 2 to 5.
Q House.
Yes.
5:25. Okay. In the morning? Or after?
2 to 5.
2 to 5, okay, I'm sorry. And, yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for doing this, every year, because mental health, there's such a stigma. But if you're breathing, you have mental health, right? So you need to just talk to somebody, do something, like you're saying. So I appreciate you making sure that our community is aware in doing these different things. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from committee members? None? Okay. We will let you know after we deliberate, as we told the other group. If you are here, you'll hear us. If you are not, which you don't have to be, because I don't know what your schedule permits, we will contact you directly. But thank you for the work you're doing in our community and are continuing to do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so next on this here, I see something from Higher Heights. Let's see, do we have our flyer in here? Or which one is it?
No, it's not in there. I can tell you what they're asking is they're taking students on an HBCU tour next week. They have a couple students that are short funding for that trip, so they've asked the Caucus as well as other sources that they could help out.
And even if she's not here, I can, because I'm the one that told them to come to the meeting, so,
Because we worked with them in the past.
with Higher Heights.
Yes. So this is a request to see what we can do as far as the HBCU tour for a couple of students
Yeah,
from New Haven.
yeah. During spring, this was their email. During spring break, Higher Heights has a bus of 20 students going on our college tour that are specifically for Hill House, and we are requesting support in the maximum of $300 to support the trip. Please let me know if that's possible. FYI, we actually have 2 buses, 64 students total, but I'm only asking for funding to support the Hill House bus. Thank you, Shackelfelder, McIntyre, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Davis, for reading that. While we're on that, I just want to remind everyone to check your email. I did send something out about a request for Higher Heights, and it's specifically for August right now, that request for volunteers. We do wish to collaborate with them again on an event to help our students with the FAFSA. So I'll talk more about that later, so we don't hold our other presenters up. Okay, and I would like to call our representatives from the Schubert Theater next. Thank you for coming tonight. And I'll just like to remind you to please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Kelly Lizardo. I live at 1693 Quinnipiac, Ward 12.
And Anthony McDonald, 2 Windsor Road East, dare I say, North Haven, Connecticut. But I proudly represent New Haven, being the executive director of the Schubert Theater.
Thank you. And you may start.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
So, I don't.
There you go. You have the floor.
No worries. Thank you all for having us, for giving us a little bit of your time. We are merely here, myself and Kelly Rosado, my director of education at the Schubert, are here to merely first off to say thank you all for your support. This fiscal year that we're currently in that ends in June, we've been doing fairly well for Schubert. We've been able to kind of continue to build back up our audiences from the pandemic years. But once again, though, you all found it in your budget to help us this past season, / current season, and without your support, what I really want to focus on the most is some of that funding that you all provided us when you worked with our educational world. And without your funding, without your support, we actually wouldn't have had an educational budget this year. Some of the folks that have given to us in the past kind of have changed their giving tenets and or have moved out of state, and all of a sudden, the folks that supported us kind of went away out of nowhere. But thankfully, you all stepped up, and that's why we actually were able to really serve our kids this season. And I wanted to have Kelly then talk about what we have been able to do with your support.
So just so you know, we've already served about 15,000 plus students this year, and we're not done, which is at least 2,000 more kids than last year. So Anthony's always telling me more. So we're doing that. But I specifically want to make sure that you know what we're doing for New Haven students. So since COVID, we have brought back live performances for the students during the school day, and we have made sure that we also keep providing virtual performances too, because teachers can use those in their curriculum. The past 2 years, we focused on Black History Month and providing a virtual show so that teachers have new curriculum to offer to the kids. We did a show on Harriet Tubman, and we did a show on a NASA scientist. This year, we did Hispanic Heritage Month, and we offered a show called Sugar Skull, which was about Dia de los Muertos. And we offered that 2 weeks leading into Dia de los Muertos, and then we had a mariachi show at the Schubert. We're fortunate enough that sometimes to be able to give tickets to people, not only through our community ticket programming, but we had some extra tickets for that show. And so I reached out to Arte, to Dave Greco, and said, do you have anybody? And he's like, we have a kids mariachi band. So they were able to come to the Schubert for free to see that show, meet the musicians, get pictures, have a great time. And then just this past month, we served over 1,700 kids in New Haven. Title I school students were able to come for free to come see school time shows. We did one called Dr. Kaboom, which is a science show. And since COVID, especially reading scores, math scores have suffered. So we try to tie things in with a book as much as possible. So it's an ongoing learning experience. So teachers were given the option of a couple of different books based on the age range of the kids that they were able to choose. It's so easy nowadays to be able to find things that are really representative. And then that was grades 3 through 7. And then for grades K through 2, I focused on the dual language classes. We have a lot of dual language classes in New Haven. And sometimes when I go and I tell them I'm reading a book in English, they're disappointed. And so I really wanted to get something that's just for them. So there's this beautiful group called Uno, Dos, Tres, Andres. And they sing in Spanish and English and American Sign Language. And the kids came and had such a wonderful time with people who were really speaking to them. They got to meet them after the show, and they actually have their own book. And every child got a book that they get to take home, not just the classroom. They get to take home and share with their families and keep it forever, as I tell them. I have never met a child that is not excited about a free book. So that is a good thing. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew how we're trying to really target New Haven students and make sure that we're getting them what they need.
In closing, I always say to my team, I don't feel like we always do an amazing job at kind of shouting from the rooftop all the things that we are doing that honestly we don't quote unquote have to do, but it's the right thing to do. So even as Kelly had mentioned, the CCC program, which is a ticketing program that we have for nonprofits in our community, where we give them a small allotment of tickets to come see some of our shows. That's not something that happens because I said so. It's I actually have to negotiate and fight for these tickets with these bookers and these productions we're bringing in, because oftentimes nobody wants to obviously give anything away for free. However, we find it important to make sure that we are making space, because we do know that there's folks in our community who may not have the financial wherewithal all the time, but that should never be the barrier to ever coming and experiencing something that we have going on. In addition to that, we also invite you all. I can probably do a little better at making sure that I always get out a little bit sooner, per se, but we also invite you all as our elders to see some of our shows. So there will be another email coming out, but I can tell you all right now that we're inviting you all also to Hadestown, which is our next Broadway show the end of this month. The main thing is, if you all cannot attend, but there's a family in your ward that you know of that would love to attend a show like that at the Schubert, then by all means, still reach out to us and ask if you can have an allotment of up to 4 tickets. I can't say you can give away the whole connection right now, but the idea is, though, that's the whole point. We fight to make sure we have an allotment to be able to serve our community, to make sure we make space, and to make sure you all can also experience with your own members of, or citizens of your wards, the beauty and magic of what we have going on with Schubert. But all that is made possible because of your support. So we just wanted to say thank you. We hope that you will continue to find it within yourselves and to see that what we are doing is hopefully reaching our entire community, because that's been the goal of mine that come here. The Schubert has always done great programming. I just tried to really amplify it and be even more purposeful with what we do, because once again, we're all here in this community, and I never want anyone to feel less than or not accepted or not invited to the building. We all are here. I want us all in the building. Let us sing a beautiful night where, dare we say, talking about free tickets. We gave some away, and we have never experienced the snatch up of free tickets like that before. But the beautiful thing was, New Haven was in the building, and it was just a beautiful night to experience an amazing artist, but right here in New Haven. And that's our goal. That's the whole reason why we do what we do. We've only been here for 109 years because of the people of New Haven. And so we appreciate what you all do for us, and we hope that you all continue to support us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for presenting tonight. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you making the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have extra books if anybody has.
Oh, that way, yeah, one moment, I'm sorry, I'm derelict in my duties. Alder Ficklin, you go. I want to ask questions for members. Alder Ficklin, you go.
Well,
No, she just want a book.
She just wanted Madam Chair, I do have a question for Anthony, but it's unrelated to this agenda.
Can we get back to it? Like, is this something we can connect with him offline on?
Yes.
Okay, we will make sure we do that. Only because of our time constraints.
Look, Howard is on my club with that.
Oh,
I'm a proud
At the-
Howard alum.
at the sugar.
Let me know. Let's talk.
okay. I'll give you, well, you probably have information. You connect.
All right, all right.
Thank you. Again, any questions from committee members? None? All right. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you. for your time.
Thank you for all you do.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we are going to call up Mr. Jawan Carter, and he's going to give us a briefing on some SBA information.
I be getting nervous sometimes. I don't know why.
All right, Mr. Carter, we just need you to, before you start presenting, state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jawan Carter. My address is 106 Caucus Street, Leaving Connecticut.
All right, Mr. Carter, we are ready for your presentation.
Awesome.
And don't forget. Thank you for being with us.
I appreciate it so much. I do appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. You do work tirelessly. So this right here is a PowerPoint we created. Doreen, Abubakar, and myself. It's talking about taking minority businesses to the next level. And the reality is that there's been an SBA program that's been quietly kept for those who know, because in reality, it's really about peace and profits. And what that looks like is there's certain fights that people do in politics that is for a particular reason, and there's others where it's like, I gotta protect my peace. But the profits is because they don't want to take certain fights to protect that profit, because profits is what dreams are built on. All right, in order to make things reality for our communities, when we're looking for funding, when our communities are looking for a structure, it's usually for-profit businesses that can produce some of those things. So we get to the next slide, please. So the reason I'm here is because 2053 and 2073, there is data from the Federal Reserve explaining how the Black family is going to be at a network of zero. 2073 is going to be Latinos. And we have to understand that a part of that is the baby boomers are passing down a lot of wealth. There's inheritance that are being passed on. And one example I want you to think about is in some of these communities, they have built up these businesses to the point where the kids have thrived successfully and they don't even take the businesses. So if we could talk locally, like think about Pizza House, right? That was a real institution, right? To the point where the family didn't want it anymore. So it went to a different culture, a different community. So we have to look at that, for instance, of why they're saying we're going to be at network of zero. What's key here is that right now we have leadership of color. This is a great table. I know there's some that are missing, but I want to look at the room, the portraits here. They were playing a different game during those days. And during that time, the structure was my community, my culture has to have the advantage, which is allowing that data to come true, right? They have excelled so well with building up this foundation that we have to now still dismantle some of that and to change that trajectory. So if we don't, we fail our youth, right? So we have to really understand the urgency here about what does it look like of allowing our youth to be more engaged with learning how to grant write, getting them to be able to transfer that skill to writing successful business proposals. Because we're in a market right now where businesses are not able to get the capital they need because they're not writing well, right? Like that's further discussion. We need to talk about like institutions and resources. Right now, the Yale Child Study is having a series. It's about institutional racism in the mental health space. And what's interesting about what's going on is that there's a group of people of color. They're doing an amazing job with leveraging funding from the APA. So the American Psychiatric Association and the American Psychological Association during 2021, they apologized for their play in racism, white supremacy. So with that being the case, a lot of fact finding is coming out in the medical field from this series of explaining how they contributed to making sure that what these folks did on the portraits, it continued to thrive. Here's something that may be a bit controversial here, but a bondsman, understanding the purpose of a bondsman on a municipal level, state level, federal level. This is a person who's supposed to speak and vouch for the community. Is money being spent accordingly with these contracts? And are the contractors being paid on time? That's what that role is for. Talk about earmarks, right? We have the baddest delegation in the federal land, right? And we need to do a better job leveraging that, right? We have, Rosa DeLauro, who's like a high rank in appropriations. It's time for this board to get some earmarks for the city, because when you do the research of how Yale stopped what could have been the first HBCU, and now it's a pillar of the highway in Fairhaven, we got to reverse that. And I do appreciate the work that we're doing with the Inclusion Center, the Economic Inclusion Center. I appreciate that work. And then we have to understand power brokers. So I brought a couple examples of some of the power brokers here. Acknowledging Arthur T. Barbieri. He was a political strategist here in New Haven. Also, I brought someone by the name of, his last name was Cosgrove, Dan Cosgrove. He was another boss. He was another person who ran the political circles. But these people have passed on, their families are still here. But there's new political bosses, and we gotta understand why this program has not been spoken of or advocated for. Because these bosses understood economics as well. They understood how to make sure that certain companies got certain contracts within this very city. We can go to the next slide, please shoot it. Okay, so this SBA program is called the AA, as you can see towards the end. This is really interesting because I learned about this in 2012 when I was working for Chris Murphy's campaign. Right, I don't just do campaigns to do them. I do campaigns to figure out how to make my community benefit from resources and information. Right, like how to get to DC and get connections with the GSA and get connections with the SBA, for instance. However, I was not able to make an impact with this information because there was a lot of debates that took place with power brokers. There was a lot of debates that took place with people who ran the political market. But I'm at this point right now where I gain more courage and more confidence. I'm speaking up. So with that being the case, the 8A, it's about socially, economically disadvantaged groups. And that definition is groups who have been subjected to racial and ethnic prejudice or cultural bias. So that's Black, Hispanic, Native, Alaskans, Native, we got Native Hawaiians, we got federal, state, recognized Indian tribes, and Asian Pacific Americans. Think about New Haven demographic. Now, the second part of this program is your net worth cannot exceed $850,000, and that's including the valuation of your home and the valuation of your business. So when we really think this through, this program has been existed since 1940 something, but it became open specifically for those groups in the 1983, 84. But the data doesn't reflect any companies from New Haven being a part of this program. As of right now, there's only 12 of these companies in the state of Connecticut. Majority of these companies are, sorry to say, but in Republican states. Another thing too, we have to understand is that this program is now currently under review with the Supreme Court. So we kind of can see what's going on with the Supreme Court and programs that's meant to keep people of color, just have some leverage in this place of America. But here's the interesting part. We're dealing with competition, we're dealing with cultures. And what's interesting is that from the Democratic Party, Nancy Pelosi's office, they're the ones who's pushing this to the Supreme Court. Because what happened was a white-owned company, white woman-owned company, felt that this was a reverse racism rule. What happened was this particular entity was winning so many contracts year after year. And these contracts are millions of dollars, by the way. We're not talking about 100,000. We're talking life-changing contracts. We're talking about getting people out of low income to be in middle class. Here's the thing. The person who understands how to write these contracts in the procurement department, they was like, hey, we need to make this a sole source. So a sole source means if you're match the criteria 8A, nobody else can compete with you. So she lost that contract and she didn't want to become sub to that person. So, politics. I got money. I could do fundraisers for you. I need you to take up this cause. And that's what's going on now. So we need to create this pipeline immediately. So another thing too, we're not leveraging the state DAS, MDE, SBE program set asides, because these are supposed to give you capacity to get into the federal market. So with that being the case, the DAS, they focus a lot on construction contractors, but the DAS is open to so many other businesses, caterers, landscapers. We're talking nonprofits, right? We're talking advertising. We're talking the businesses that you see in New Haven, right? New Haven is pretty much known as the startup place for businesses. A lot of these businesses qualify, and we need to have a better system of making this a priority. You go to the next slide. We can go to the next slide. Let's talk about that. So a lot of the certification stuff, paperwork. People's paperwork has to be in order. And what I've learned as a business owner myself is that having the right mentor, whether it's culturally, having the right sponsor, someone that can get you into the rooms that you don't have access to. I'm not going to name some good names. There's some good names here, but we got leverage to better. As a matter of fact, you honored one of them, Howard K. Hill. You honored one of them before at a gala. Understanding power brokers on how they can actually push stuff like this, right? Coming together. If we really want to give out this life, we got to do this. The key here is some of these businesses don't understand their profit margins. They don't understand their day-to-day transactions. Because again, it's going back to profits. If you can't produce profits, you're not going to create your dream. So a lot of businesses here in New Haven, although we are the startup capital, we're not the thriving capital of keeping them sustained, right? So what that means is having the right sponsorships, having the right mentors, having the right people to understand that your price is your price. And in order to thrive, you just have to be firm on it. And we also have to create this pipeline because this is going to produce jobs where people are actually going to be able to buy the proper at the proper price. We can go to the next one. So what we got going on is Doreen and I, we have the DAS coming into New Haven, and we're going to open up this information session soon. It's going to be in September. You could go up another slide. And it's going to go over all the information that contractors need. It's going to be more in depth. No, go to the other one. Yeah. Oh, that's it?
Was it? You had one that had the date on top. It was a couple before that. And it said coming September 2024 at the top.
Yeah, that is our event.
Okay.
Where DS is coming in town. It's going to be virtually, the first one. I'm so sorry.
Okay. This one?
Mm-hmm.
This one.
Yeah, thank you so much. You were there. I appreciate you. So yes, September 9th, it's going to be on Zoom, virtual. I assume Zoom. It may be a different, it could be Teams. I'll let you guys know. And then also on September 23rd, which is about a couple weeks later, they're going to be in person. So if we can have a nice gathering space to make sure thriving businesses or people who are aspiring to be a part of this program should be in attendance. Because in all reality, I want to talk about what a pipeline looks like and whether you may know some of the pipelines that do exist. New Haven promised a phenomenal pipeline, right? We are giving kids the opportunity to be debt-free in college. And one that stands out is the gentleman who created what could have been documentary. Because without the promise, who knows if that documentary would have came out, but the fact finding of how Yale stops what could have been the first Black HBCU, phenomenal. Number two, there is a pipeline on recruiting federal agents or federal police enforcement in New Haven. And what that looks like is understanding that New Haven has a need for police officers who are community oriented. There is a training program where you're able to focus on getting your fitness in order so that you can at least pass the fitness test, right? And this is very low budget stuff. But the reality is, because New Haven is known as the place who gives police officers the rigorous training, they see the opportunity that if people can pass this training and they do good work in the city, there's a chance for them to become Secret Service or any other federal agent. It could be a state officer, or it could do things at the Capitol. But if you could do something on a small scale for a police department and the enforcement agency, there should be no reason why we cannot do this. Because having these businesses thrive, it's going to allow us to be able to have people to pay their rent. And what I passed out here is letting you know that this is just an example off of $1,000 rent. And what it looks like if you're making this wage, how many hours you actually have to do just to be under rent, or either get away from rent burden, which means your household, the rent is less than 30% of your net. I focus the numbers on the net because we live off the net, we don't live off the gross. So all of this connects, but the reality is there's other challenges that's in place, and it's really about how to get these power brokers to do their job, or train the power brokers, which is why I've always been in the political space, because I've watched and I learned and I observed, and we could talk more off the record, but I know you guys can do this, ladies can do this, and thank you so much. Oh yeah, questions, I really do appreciate them.
Thank you for presenting. Are there any questions from committee members? Alder from Ward 23.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Have you presented this to the Small Business Academy that we have? And let's see, to try to partnership, or the new center for inclusionary growth is up and coming. Have you met with the executive director yet, or tried to get on her calendar?
No, I have not. I would love to have the recommendation and the right referrals from this board to make it more of a exciting meeting. Because instead of me coming off the street as a cold call, if I get the reference from Taisha, Madam Taisha, or the board itself, that would be very helpful.
You don't need that for her.
Okay.
Her job specifically is to talk to people coming straight off of the street with ideas. So getting a recommendation from this board would deviate from what her job actually is. So I'd rather you just go there. She's a regular person, and reach out to her and sit down and see, because she has a lot of knowledge about small business, running her own business, and some of the stuff you're talking about. So I would suggest you connect with her. Her name is Dawn Lee.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alder Morrison.
So my question is, and I ask this of everyone, what is your specific ask of this particular body? Because you've given us some information, and as Madam President just said, this information seems like it would be best fit for the Small Business Academy. I don't know what they call it, but the small Kathy Graves' school. And then, as you said, this other person, I'm just trying to figure out what the specific ask is, because we're taskmasters.
Yes.
So our role is taking this phone, giving it to somebody, now you have communication, versus just the information.
Yes.
And so I heard you talk about you're going to have this virtual, I don't know if it's a virtual conversation about this. To learn, I guess it's to learn more about this. You're going to have that. So again, what is the ask? And then I see Connecticut Minority Certification. Is this the event that you're going to have on the 9th? By participating on that day, are you going to receive a certification? How does all this work?
Gotcha. So for the event, this is going to be an informational session, and we're going to be identifying people that are paper ready, people that are actually thriving businesses that may have heard of the program or may not be aware of the program, but they're in a place where they can actually have an admin and submit the lengthy documents. And that's the state side. The federal side is a whole different beast, unfortunately. But the fact is, it's where we need to be. Now, in addition for the ask, what can the caucus do? And there's one more thing I forgot to add in my presentation, is that going back to profits, city contracts, right? There's a term that it challenges profits. Understanding profits allow you to build your dreams, right? If you want to participate in purchasing land, or you want to participate in some type of stake of a nonprofit to build a community center, right? Because there's a need for all of this stuff, right? Having language written of lowest bid or lowest bid technical, it kind of takes away from profit margins. And you just have to do a bit of research of, was that established by the people who, you know, are part of this wall, who kept alive their advantage? Because in reality, our community need businesses to thrive. Now, in the federal marketplace, they don't always use lowest bid technical. They use best evaluation, best value, right? They use different languages where the profit margin ain't 1%. The profit margin allows the owners to live a different life, but it also allows them to pay living wages in those areas. So with that being the case, my ask for the board is, it's budget season, right? Let's look at how these departments in the procurement department write up these contracts. Lowest bid. Can we do a bit of research on what does it look like using some of the federal requirements? Because Congress is talking about this now, which is like, how do we do better procurements for the state and local municipalities? So getting involved in that process would be a great ask. Another ask I would say would be allowing more visibility to this event, because it's Doreen and I. We have a program that's being put together, something called a Business to B&B Network. It's a directory. I'm also in conversation with the consultant in Fairhaven, where it's going to be focused on the Latino community. So that way it's specific on making sure that the groups are getting the proper attention on what their cultural needs are. So that'll be my ask.
So I'm just listening to you, a couple of things. One, in regards to I'm all about collaboration. There's no need in, reinventing the wheel, and there's nothing new under the sun. So what you're talking about here really matches with the small business initiative under the city, and working with them and collaborating with them to get this word out, to do the various things that you're trying to do, because they'll have the people that are paper ready or near paper ready, because a lot of them either went through their program, their however many week program, or what have you. So that to me would be more attractive coming from the people that do this. The other piece is when you talk about the lower bid, you're talking about language, that's more legislative. So if there are specific things that, legislation that it is that you see that should be corrected, for us, it would be easier if you said that this legislation such and such and such, and, as a board of alders, you will write to the president to ask to have this legislation looked at, revised, whatever the situation is. So this is a good place to come and have a conversation, because it is the Black and Hispanic Caucus, and your focus are minorities, but the actual work and the actual things that will push this along are your involvement with another entity within the city, along with looking at our legislation, our policy, our law, our ordinances, and pointing out specific things of what needs to, I took your paper, but on specific things that need to be changed, tweaked, added, things of that sort. So that's why I always go to what is the actual ask, because for me, like right now, walking away, I don't feel like I have a task. My task was what we're saying right now, where, the different places that you should go to make this more wholesome, more together, inclusive, I should say, in touching the right people, because we touch everybody, right? So we might happen to touch one person, but that's not going to do anything for this. But this other group will be able to help you touch 20 people, 50 people, 100 people. So that's all my question was, and then that's my response.
Thank you, Alder Morrison.
I truly appreciate that.
And Alder Rodriguez.
Thank you. So when you initially started, I'm gonna piggyback Okay, Walter Morrison. It sounded like your ask is that once you get this meeting up and running with Ms. Abubakar, that perhaps you send us an email and we forward out to the community to see who can attend? That is the ask. The ask is that when you guys are ready to have that meeting, you will send the information through our Director Lucas, and then he would forward us out to the alders, so the alders can then forward it out to community, because you want community at the table, apart from the homework of meeting with the small business office and things like that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
If I could add?
Yes, Madam Chair.
So I'm gonna go back to this boss, Dan Cosgrove. In his obituary, it says, "I know how to get things done," right? I'm here to learn how to get things done. Because honestly, who is our power broker for this community? Again, this program's been out since 1984 for people of color. So we're talking all of these political power brokers and bosses that may not have identified as us. And if they did, this wasn't a priority. So I'm like, in all these spaces I've been in, right, we're talking Chris Murphy, we're talking Mike Bloomberg, right, we're talking Rosa DeLauro. Like, these are some great accomplishments. Some of these all at the table, right? We're in this together. But the person who's to be the sponsor, it seemed like there was a void. And when I would bring things up like this, it became a debate. And I'm like, nah, this can't be a debate. This is about getting it done because you got the power, you got the votes. So thank you so much. I'm here still.
We thank you for coming tonight, and we will be in touch. If alders have questions, we will get them forwarded to you. We'll give you a call or send you an email, as you know already, Mr. Carter. And keep up the good work. And thank you for bringing this to our attention so that we pay more attention to this as it affects our community. And I can't wait to see what happens with your partnerships.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Mr. Carter.
Thank you so much.
What is next? Oh, okay, I would like to, we have other new business, and I think this is a good space. I'm gonna throw this out there for you to, for some of the authors are not familiar, to bring up what we spoke about earlier. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you need?
The signage.
Oh, no, that's ours.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't sign in at all? Oh, I apologize, Mr. Carter.
Okay, every year, as, most of you know, we have a gala. You know about the gala? You guys know about the Black Hispanic Caucus? So every year for the last, this is gonna be our 13th year, the last Thursday of every October, we have the Black Hispanic Caucus Gala. And the purpose of the gala is it's our largest fundraiser. Like, we're looking to do other smaller fundraisers for this fundraiser allows us to provide support to you and senior endeavors. Now, there's two pieces that happen. We have 3 what we call youth donations, which is $1,000 each. And then we have 3 senior donations, which is $1,000 to each one of the clubs, which is the Dixwell New Harville Senior Center, Atwater Senior Center, and the East Shore Senior Center. And so every year, and then we have other smaller. And so when people, such as the different people that came today, asking for donations, we have these $300 clips that people come, we talk about, we vote on it, and then we get it. This is money that, in my mind, talk about what you're going to do to support children and seniors. Most of the time, people get them. And so one of the things that we do every year at the beginning, meeting, we talked about our six standard, or five of the six standard donations. And so one of the youth donations always goes to the Youth Movement Scholarship Fund. The second one goes to the Hispanic Firefighter Scholarship Fund. And then the third one is we call that law. And at the meeting last month, we all voted to have that one go to supporting Juneteenth celebration this year. But there's every year something different. One year, one of our schools, the New Haven State top one, they made it to Florida, so we gave them $1,000 to help with that. So it's different organizations come our way to ask for those money. And then the senior ones are always standard. So at the beginning of the year, we always say it, we put it on the table, we make a general vote, and then, I write the checks to those things. They can look at that because like the New Haven scholarship, they have a specific fund that is from the Black and Hispanic Caucus. And usually on the furlough, back there, it usually goes every year to it happens on the Sunday and gives the actual donation. So in saying all that, I wanted to make my yearly motion that we give out these 5 donations, and again, the wild card we already talked that last year, last month. Yeah. So, so say,
Alder Furlow?
And I do go, thank you for allowing me to go. Anybody else want to go in that hot church? They go in summer. 2 hours. I will gladly pass that.
Hold on. But just in case, the other people want to. Well, the furlough goes, but this is for everyone to go. I've been there at the hot church too. Everybody can go to the church because that way you get to see all these hundreds and hundreds of kids. They give out this money. So things. So I'm going to make a motion. My motion. I'm going to make a motion that we provide financial support to the New Haven Scholarship Fund, the Hispanic Firefighters Scholarship Fund, and the 3 senior centers under elderly services. Yeah, second, $1,000 each.
For a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to change their vote? None? The motion passes. We will be honoring what we've been typically doing. And they will get the $5,000 total. 1,000 each. Thank you, Alder Morrison, for that. We got that out of the way. Any other new business? Yeah. Yeah. So no other new business for that. So, and does anyone want to make a motion on the other requests we received from our Take Back the Hill, Fred Harris event, our mental harmony request, and our higher heights request? So, second, has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Order for 423.
Thank you. Here, I think we should support all 3. I want to talk about one in particular, the mental health. I actually attend their but I went 3 out of the 4. And when they first started, they had like a very specific initiative on mental health, and it helps take away the stigma. They bring everybody together in different forms, and they try to go to different neighborhoods. Normally, it was in Johnson Square for a while, and they were doing it over there, and the amount of people that was really impacted, like really impacted by what we were trying to do. and felt okay about being honest about their mental health issues. Was really great. So I think people should actually go out and see what they do, because I think you would really be impressed. And whether it's 5 people or 5, you put on for whoever's there, because we intentional about the work that I do. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Order from Ward 3.
Thank you. And I just, agree with, Alderman Ward. Also, support all 3 events.
Thank you. Anyone else? Order from Ward 20.
Thank you, Chair. Also in support of all, where mental health focus is concerned, it is so good. A lot of folks in our community, are struggling with some mental health challenges, and any persons and or programs that's out there to help people get past situations and or life challenges, it's a wonderful thing. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will vote on this. All in favor of giving the request to all 3 entities? Say yes.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for present. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passed. What we will do is we will honor the request for all 3. Okay.
Did we talk about, well, you said it at the, meeting, HBCU, we had the HBCU event. One of the things we really need the Caucus members to start coming to the stuff like that. It's hard when it's just 2 people, right? And so we're pushing everything in the community. We gotta push ourselves to also participate. And I also wanted to remind folks that the Juneteenth celebration, make sure that you have it in your calendar. Al, that's July 22nd, right? It's that Saturday. So it's July 22nd.
July or June?
June.
I said July.
Yeah,
I meant to say June. Juneteenth. Yeah, I know. I'm just going back to work. June 22nd is a Saturday. Juneteenth is that 19th. But on that Saturday, they will have the enormous program, which we provided a lot of support. And so once they get their flyers and everything, we'll make sure that everyone has that, so we can push those on to our electronic distribution. And lastly, in regards to dues, everyone knows that the dues is $10 a month. It's $150 a year, whatever way you want to pay it. But as of today, everyone is expected to be up to the $40. So I just wanted to point out, because not to say that we're using it as a cap, but when you pay, you come to the group and ask for support for different organizations in your community. And so the monies that we pay help with the other stuff, because it's money that we raise. We don't want to use that for, if something happened to somebody on the board, something like that. We bring in about $2,200 if everyone paid their 120. Okay, so I just thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer and Alderman Morrison. We have been sending dues reminders. I have intentionally been reminding people to pay their dues. I like to say, don't talk about it, be about it. And that money that we put in the pot, it helps these events. It's not just about if we want to use it for hardship for someone. We fundraise, and that's part of our fundraising. We commit our dues. We put our money down because we're putting our money where our mouth are. We're in this too. We're not just out here asking people to donate and then we're not giving back. And it goes the same to like our volunteerism. We can't attend everything. And I understand that, between work and family life, but, we are, being a lot more intentional on trying to encourage. What we will continue to do is share and vice share, period. You will get more emails and calls, getting actual attendance. Can you attend? In place of this person, or, will you be the representative for an event? We feel like it's an honor to do some of this stuff. We know you work hard for your city every single day, and we appreciate it. But we are just trying to be a bit more intentional with where we're spending time, how we're spending time, how we're volunteering, and what we're giving our money to. Because our money's in the pool and in the pot, it makes a difference. So I didn't mean to go on that long. I apologize on that note. And other than that, any other new business? No? Okay, so we'll move on then. We're gonna go to our next meeting date. Our next meeting date is going to be May, right? Is this correct, May 8th? No. This,
Second Wednesday of the month.
the year's flying. So it is. All right. Unless something changes, it's May 8th. So please be here with us, and we have some other great updates. And I'd just like to remind you again to check the email that was sent today. It was sent to your Alder email address about a volunteer event. That is strictly for Alders at this time, and it is for Higher Heights. And we want to do our collaboration with them faster. We did do it some years ago. It was a great thing. That's it. Any questions, comments from committee members, the caucus members? None, and none. I make a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody's opposed. Any discussion? No discussion.